say that 1.5 milligrams of Newpect is in each spray. And that might be the case considering how much Newpect they put in it. But considering the additional bioavailability of it, meaning like how much better it might absorb and how much better it might affect your brain, considering that you're spraying it up your nose, it's not that one spray equals 1.5 milligrams compared to oral Newpect. It's more like one spray equals 5 or 6 milligrams. That's the breakdown that I figured out. So if your normal sweet spot on oral Newpect is 15 milligrams or 13 milligrams, you probably want to shoot for a spray or two. Two sprays are really what would equal 12 or 13 milligrams, which is right around that dose range. And then, for some people, like the
cardiac arrest. And the latest ACLS guidelines published by the AHA do not recommend routine administration. Sodium bicarb is still used as part of resuscitation in cardiac arrest. Additional research is needed to elucidate further the effects of sodium bicarb on organ function, on likelihood of return to spontaneous circulation, and on survival in patients resuscitated from cardiac arrest. An objective reappraisal of the use of bicarb or other buffer agents, and perhaps on an appropriate therapeutic window for use of sodium bicarb in cardiac arrest patients is warranted. When sodium bicarb is not available, sodium acetate can be given instead. 1 MEq sodium acetate can be used to replace 1 MEq of sodium bicarb. However, sodium acetate needs to be given much more slowly, over 15 to 20 minutes, to avoid the risk of hypotension and cardiac instability. The slow rate of infusion limits the usefulness of sodium acetate in critical scenarios, such as cardiac arrhythmias or toxicologic emergencies. In order to get through this period of shortage, conserve sodium bicarb by seeking alternatives for the following conditions. For metabolic, respiratory, or diabetic acidosis, just treat the underlying cause. For rhabdomyolysis, use normal saline for hydration instead. For hyperkalemia, use calcium gluconate or chloride to stabilize the myocardium, insulin plus dextrose to hide the potassium from the heart, and then remove the excess potassium from the body like I discussed in episode 34. For prevention of contrast-induced nephropathy, use normal saline hydration instead. For cardiac arrest, follow the ACLS protocols. Reserve sodium bicarb and sodium acetate supplies for tricyclic, aspirin, methotrexate, and phenobarb toxicity. If you're completely out of sodium bicarb and sodium acetate, consider the following alternatives for drug toxicity. For cardiac arrhythmias from tricyclic toxicity, you can use hypertonic saline instead. 1 ml of 8.4% sodium bicarb contains about the same amount of sodium as 2 mLs of 3% saline. So use 3% saline, 2 to 4 mLs per kilo per dose, giving approximately 1 to 2 MEqs of sodium per kilogram of body weight. For aspirin, methotrexate, or phenobarb toxicity, consider giving acetazolamide 500 milligrams every 6 hours, followed up by enteral sodium bicarb. And for quinidine-induced torsades, no other treatment is going to the next episode of the elective rotation. I'm Pharmacy Joe. Thank you for listening to the Elective Rotation, a critical care pharmacy podcast. This is episode 193. In this episode, I'll discuss an article about allometric dosing of vancomycin, answer the drug information question, how long should steroids be given for severe alcoholic hepatitis, and share a resource for calculating the allometric dose of vancomycin. I have all the evidence supporting today's show linked up in the show notes at pharmacyjoe.com/episode 193. Consensus guideline dosing in achieving target vancomycin trough concentrations. The lead author is Matthew L. Brown, and this was published in American Journal of Health System Pharmacy, May 2017. Vancomycin is a challenging drug to dose correctly. You can drive a bus through the volume of distribution range at 0.4 to 1 liter per kilo. You can have a patient therapeutic one day and toxic the next. Using vancomycin in obese patients is particularly difficult because weight-based dosing tends to result in overdosing. The authors of this study compared consensus guidelines with a vancomycin dosing regimen based on allometry, the study of the relationship between body size and physiology, to determine vancomycin dose. The study was a single-center, retrospective, pre- and post-implementation study of adults treated with IV vancomycin. The allometric formula to calculate the dose of vancomycin was 1,200 milligrams times the square root of the total body weight in kilos divided by 80 kilos. Patients in the pre-implementation group received vancomycin 15 to 20 milligrams per kilo IV, calculated using total body weight. Patients in the post-implementation group received vancomycin based on the allometric dose. The primary outcome was the attainment of an initial vancomycin trough concentration within the target range of 10 to 20 milligrams per liter. A secondary outcome was the rate of nephrotoxicity associated with each dosing method. For both groups, the frequency of dosing was based on creatinine clearance cutoffs as follows. Greater than 74 mL per minute got Q8 dosing, 50 to 74 mL per minute got Q12, and 25 to 49 mL per minute got Q24 hour dosing. The allometric dosing group achieved target trough concentration in 77% of the patients. The consensus guideline group achieved target trough concentration in only 57% of patients. This difference was statistically significant. When only obese patients were analyzed, the superiority of allometric dosing was maintained at 73% versus 46% in target range with allometric versus guideline dosing, respectively. While the rate of nephrotoxicity was not statistically different, there was a trend that favored the allometric group, which had 1.2% versus 7.4% incidence of nephrotoxicity. The authors concluded, in hospitalized adults, allometric vancomycin dosing achieved a higher frequency of initial vancomycin trough concentrations within the target range of 10 to 20 milligrams per liter compared with dosing as recommended by consensus guidelines. The difference between methods in the percentage of troughs within the target range was most pronounced in obese patients. This is an exciting development for improving vancomycin dosing. A 77% rate of achieving target trough range is phenomenal. Allometric dosing results in using less vancomycin on a milligram per kilo basis, and the potential for improved safety with allometric dosing should be explored further. The protocols for the study use some unique calculation methods that should be considered if attempting to replicate the results. The authors rounded doses to the nearest 100 milligrams, whereas many institutions round to the nearest 250 milligrams. The authors also rounded low creatinine values in elderly patients up for the purpose of calculating creatinine clearance, with the threshold of 1 milligram per deciliter for patients 65 and older and 1.2 milligram per deciliter for patients 80 and older. The generalizability of these results to critically ill patients is low. No patient in the study received a loading dose of vancomycin. Only 30% of patients in the study were admitted to the ICU, and the indication for vancomycin was skin and soft tissue infection more than half of the time. Only 2% of the patients in the allometric group were receiving vancomycin for bacteremia. Nevertheless, this study provides an excellent set of questions for future research. Many hospital-based vancomycin dosing protocols are empirically derived and locally monitored by medication use evaluation. Therefore, it's appropriate for individual hospitals to consider trialing and monitoring a vancomycin dosing regimen based on the results of this study. The drug information question for this episode is how long should steroids be given for severe alcoholic hepatitis? The answer is 28 days before tapering slowly. The 28-day duration is taken from a meta-analysis of 5 randomized controlled trials that showed that corticosteroids significantly improved 28-day survival in patients with severe alcoholic hepatitis. A slow taper of 2 to 4 weeks helps ensure that adrenal insufficiency does not occur. Keep in mind that prednisone needs to be converted by the liver to an active metabolite, so patients being treated for severe alcoholic hepatitis should receive prednisolone instead. And the resource for this episode is an allometric dosing calculator that I have created. The calculator replicates the formula used in the study discussed in this episode, including rounding vancomycin dosing to the nearest 100 milligrams. The calculator can be found by linking from the show notes at pharmacyjoe.com/episode 193, or by selecting the calculator page from the drop-down menu under resources in the pharmacyjoe.com menu. A big shout out to Pharmacy Matthew, the lead author of the allometric vancomycin dosing study, who helped me get the coding for the formula correctly implemented. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you in the next episode of the Elective Rotation.
need to get to Fisher Strattonville Road. Where's that? Is it here? Okay, and is there a Highland Drive down there too? I thought you had to take that to get to that.
Hey man, where's Highland Drive at?
Is it here? Like, oh yeah. Is it Fisher? That's Fisher that way. Alright. Oh, is he gonna find it? Okay. Yeah. Oh, that'd be good. Alright, then, thank you.
State Park at the Clarion River. Borrowing someone's kayak today. Yeah, so let's take that. The blue canoe is so neat. Yeah, it's like the most unusual color for a canoe.
It's a very cool blue, though.
Yeah. It's like sky blue. Look at the old blue canoe.
Yeah, but now, and she, I'm thinking,
It was 2.35 feet. Okay. Okay.
I'll make a movie. And some pictures. Well, I got stills too. Yeah, I got both. But,
Yeah, you get these boats out into the water.
Watch these rocks here.
Yeah.
No hitting rocks.
Never ever hit a rock. And so Joyce and Paul got me a small Chinook that's translucent. Mine is a little bit bigger and it's yellow. And there's a little dam over here. Yeah. We're at River Mile 50 and that's it. No, it's a borrowed boat. I have one similar, but it's a little bit bigger.
wow.
Yeah, mine's a yellow one and it has a rudder on the back.
Yeah, that's what I do with my kayak. It's a fiberglass sea kayak.
Okay. Yeah, this is a borrowed one. I can't,
Girl is the only one that's never going to even get
I don't have a roof rack, so I couldn't bring it.
My feet wet.
Well,
Get it, honey?
no idea how this works. So I guess we're gonna come home. September 10th, 2017, 2:08. River Mile 50, Clarion River, 13 miles down to mile 37. Hooks Forest State Park, Pennsylvania. This is nice. Oh, that's neat. There's like rock piles built up there. Oh, wow. Check out those rock piles. So we can actually go in there. Sea stacks. Wow. Oh, it's so nice. Yeah, pretty good. This is the first time I've paddled this boat, but I think if anything it'll be easier than mine because mine's longer. Yeah. And that probably doesn't need too much. Oh, flip, don't do that, I guess. Yeah. All that. Yeah. This one might be a lot better. It's deeper here. 1, 2, too fast for anyone. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah, go right through here. Don't hit that rock right next to it. It's good. Whoa, some ducks. It's gonna get a lot shallower coming through here. Shallower, yeah, because it's widening out. But it might be okay. So far, I'm good. It's about 6 or 7 inches deep. There's a rock. Rock. Rocks. Oh gosh, did I say you don't keep these things in pristine condition? No, gosh, that's not a lot of rocks. This is how I went. I don't, yeah, maybe like right there is good. Okay, recording. We just saw an eagle. Yeah, I see them every time. I think I'm here pretty much. You're almost guaranteed. Yeah. We're probably getting pretty close to Thompson's Eddy. They're park rangers. I went on a guided thing a few winters ago where they took us to see the nests, and they were down here. Yeah, we hiked down near Valley of the Bears, which is right down here, and they took us to some places and we spotted the nests. We used like spotting scopes and stuff. They have some good programs with the park ranger here. Yeah, we might see him again. Yeah. We will probably see him again. All right. Listen to the rapids. There's rapids coming up. Train. Alright. As you can see, we're pretty in the wilderness here. There's no train tracks, no roads on either side. Deep in the heart of Cook's Forest on the Clarion River in a wild and scenic section. Nice thing. I'm good. How you doing?
What's that?
Oh, I'm good.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yep.
Kind of shallow today.
Yeah, it's way shallower. We went real fast in the spring. I mean, we must have covered like 15 miles in like 4 hours and stuff. I mean, it was crazy. But then even faster was when I showed up in May for the PA Grand Canyon, that Canyon Man Triathlon, and we covered 19 miles in 2 hours and 20 minutes. That was the fastest I'd ever went anywhere. It was on a raft, but still, it was crazy fast.
How long did you go?
2 hours and 20 minutes to go 19 miles in the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon.
I couldn't hear you. What was that again?
2 hours and 20 minutes, we went 19 miles. Yeah.
You must have flown.
Yeah, I showed up with a kayak and the river was like 2 or 3 feet too high, and so they had rafts there. I was completely prepared to go in a kayak, so I ended up destroying my phone, destroying my I had a bunch of stuff brought, but it wasn't dry bagged. It was secured in such a way that it would have been fine in my kayak, but in a raft it just got destroyed.
Yeah.
I had to replace everything.
Can't come down this part of the river.
Really? Yeah, I love that section. It's so nice.
Just, I think it's designated as wild and scenic.
Yeah, this is all wild and scenic. There's like a huge section of it. I think the whole 30 miles we did in our May trip, right? It was the weekend before Memorial Day is when I had it. One person showed up on the trip, and me and one other person, and then we did that.
You 30 miles.
Yeah.
Did you camp overnight?
Yeah, we camped 2 nights overnight. There was 8 people that were supposed to come, and they were all in the meetup, and they never came. Ducks?
Behind the rock.
Oh, there's ducks, yeah.
He's cleaning himself.
They're fancy ducks. Wow.
Oh, there's a little creek. Oh, that's the waterfall structure. Or that Cook's Forest waterfall. That's the North Country Trail. Nice. That means Thompson's Eddy is not far. It's maybe like another mile down here. We're getting into the area that's blocked off where you can't hike. It used to be the Baker Trail, yeah. So I hiked down that area in the spring, and some guy, he pulled me aside and he says, let me have a talk with you. He goes, are you a hiker? You know, and the way he asked if I'm a hiker was like asking me if I'm a mass murderer. Like, they hate hikers, and he's like, you're not allowed to come back here, blah, blah, blah. Like this. And I said, this used to be the North Country Trail. He goes, oh yeah, we're getting all the maps changed. And what I heard is that he was actually pretty nice, even though he wasn't, you know, real nice. I mean, because apparently there's people that want to shoot hikers and stuff back there. I mean, it's screwed up. I guess the Baker people are not happy with it, yeah. Oh yeah, I'll just go whatever way it works, yeah. Well, no, he was sitting there on the side of the road, but the people there are all like vigilantes. Like, if they see anyone going through there and hiking, they stop them and they question them, they kind of get in your face. I mean, it's kind of goofy because, like, we live in a neighborhood. Of course, there's private property, but, like, if we saw people walking down our street, we wouldn't know any different. Like, they don't want people walking down their street. And basically what they have is they don't have enough no trespassing signs. They're on one side of the trail and not the other side, so it makes you think it's the woods. But, yeah, that's it. That right there is where the Baker Trail used to be, and that's actually, you're not allowed to go in there anymore unless you live in that neighborhood. It's screwed up. But, yeah, what bothers me about it, though, is that is within, what I always thought, now I don't know the law of the river exactly, but I always thought that if you were within a floodplain or if you were that close to a body of water, that was kind of like common ground, basically. If the water fluctuates, I don't, maybe it doesn't exactly get up to that level. Yeah. Yeah. Now, with the rivers and stuff, isn't there a similar rule, like, don't they take a certain flood? Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious. They probably use one of those, like the so many year flood, I'm thinking, like, because when you go on the DEP maps, you can see,
Yeah, I think the North Country Trail comes back down again. You have to go up that big hill to way back there, and then it comes down again over here. Because this should be gravel lick, or it should be darn close to gravel lick. We should be getting there. Yeah. Yeah. Well, here, I tried on Moraine State Park on Lake Arthur, and you fall in. Rye is good. Lake Arthur's always cold. Yeah, it don't look like it should be there. It's too ugly. I think that's an engineered beach. Through this little nook. Where'd the people go?
That was fun.
Yeah, I don't know where all the people went. All the people. There's no more. Fallen tree. Strange smell. Some rapids. There's a rock garden. Go through this hole.
Yeah, I was thinking of buying one of them,
Yeah?
but I thought that it might break more easily.
No, this things last forever. The one that I have is the only one I've had. I had since 2001.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then I screwed up.
Oh, it's all right. That's the campground there. That's Thompson's Eddy. That's where we camped on the second night.
Oh, that's for the NCT.
Yeah, it was right on the North Country Trail. I couldn't believe it until I got there. I said, I know this place. I've been here before. They have like porta-johns and a few campsites. Yeah, it was a really nice campsite.
How they clean the porta-johns out? How they get them there?
I don't know. You know, it was a better... I don't know. The best campsite, though, was at Clear Creek Park, the canoe paddling site.
Yeah.
We got it was way isolated, way at the end. Showers and everything. It was $4 a night. I couldn't believe it. Like, I paid $25 or $30 a night to camp in some of the state parks, and the bathrooms aren't that clean, and it isn't that nice.
So did you go with the pop had like a program where they were 2-day paddle and an overnight. Did you do that?
No, that was the trip that I did. Dave Galbraith set it up because I didn't have enough money to prepay the stuff at the time. But then, you know, I went to where he said to go, and I mean, I was just really impressed with it.
The person who ran that works out of our office.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they work at Clear Creek, or they just run the
So
thing?
it was a regional. He worked out of the regional office, and it was a regional thing.
So for like regional DCNR? But what is her position? There's brown ducks. Brown ducks. Little bunch. There's the blue heron. There's so many brown ducks. Hi, brown ducks. Quack, quack. Hi, brown ducks. Whoa. Well, you said they were bluish. Yeah, look at them. Yeah, that has to be. Look at how they fly. I saw those ducks before. Now they're going back to the other people. Oh my. Heron, blue heron. Bones. Bungs. Little bungs. Where?
You can see his tail touching, if you know where to look. But my guess is that we're going to spook him. He's going to take off again.
Oh, I see a hole, but maybe that's not a bird. It has what?
To the left-hand side.
Droopy branches?
Drooping branches off to the left-hand side.
A pine tree?
Yeah, he's in that tree.
I don't know which one. Huh.
There he is, see him?
Where?
He just moved.
Oh.
He's in the branch above the drooping branch.
Kind of like in the middle.
Yeah,
Is he in the deciduous tree?
no. He's in the softwood. Look where the drooping branches are. In the corner, he's on the branch above the drooping branches that you can see. So he's kind of hidden, but you can see his tail feathers. All you see is a little patch of white.
Oh, I don't
See
see.
him? He's moving.
No, I don't
He's
see.
moving toward the trunk.
I don't see him.
He's moving from left to right. He's paralyzed. I can see his head now and his tail.
I don't see him.
Coming off of it.
I don't know which tree.
The tree, I'm looking right at it, Mike.
Is it a bendy tree?
My kayak's pointing right at it. Look at my kayak.
Yeah?
I'm pointing right at it.
Oh, a big tree.
In front of me.
It's a big tree.
The big tree with the drooping branches off to the right-hand side.
Oh.
The branches are hanging down. You look at the branch that you can't see above the drooping branches. That's where he is. He's right. I can see him now. He's sitting on the side branch right next to the trunk looking at us. I can see his white head.
Man, I can't see him.
I'm looking right at him. From what I've read, they like to hang out on trees that give you a view on boats at a bend in the river.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see him?
No?
He's right there. Can you see him now?
Yeah.
You can see his body. His body. He's right there.
I don't see him.
He's really, I mean, you can see the whole
Oh my gosh, I see him! He's right there! He's right there! Oh, wow. He's right there.
Daddy, you see it?
Bald eagle.
It's
right here,
eagle.
Right here. On the branch. Right next to the trunk.
He's there. Oh,
That is cool.
oh, he's nice.
I thought I saw a bald eagle last week, but it was awesome.
Nah, we saw the bald eagle fly over before, earlier today. Oh, it might have been the same one. Maybe he was going this way.
Yeah, he's got the brown belly.
Uh huh. He's got a
Possibly has the white belly.
Yeah.
I thought it was an eagle until he took off and I saw
yeah.
a big white belly. You don't see ospreys very
No,
often.
they're not too common. They eagles will have the white tail feathers too. I think I've seen them sometimes. Or they so you can tell them even when they're flying way up. There's like a certain way that they look.
Look at that. You ever
Steve saw it. I didn't see it till it was right there. But I was so bad one time that someone was pointing to an eagle and I didn't see it and it was like literally above my head. And I looked up and I'm like, it was 20 feet above me. And I'm like, oh, there it is. It was like closer than I thought you could ever get them on.
That's how I see them on my property. I'm not working.
Yeah.
I'm working, looking down at them. I see this big shadow.
Whoa. Oh, that's what it was. I saw a red-tailed hawk and I said, look, there's a red-tailed hawk. And then everyone was going like, shh. And they were pointing above me and right above me was the eagle. And it sat there for like 20 minutes and didn't care that I was there. And we paddled away and come back and it was still there. Yeah, that was on the Loyal Hannah Creek. Maybe the ones down there are like not afraid of people or something. Yeah. No. Yeah. You could probably see all the fish in there. No. Memorial Day, I think I was here and there was a lot of people here, but like the weekend before, like any weekend it's not a holiday weekend, it's like there's hardly anyone here, I think. And yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's like so wild and so much better than anything, and nobody comes here. Yeah. Well, let's see here. We have to slow down. Yeah, that's a fun one. Oh, I hit a rock anyway. Oh no! You're welcome, maybe it'll help, hopefully. There's ducks. They're the brownhead kind. Yeah, those are the only kind we're seeing. Maybe those are mergansers or wood ducks, I don't know. I can only think of like 2 or 3 different kinds of ducks. It is kind of strange. The only ducks that are ever tame that'll eat out of your hands are the mallards. You never ever see these ducks that tame enough to actually feed them.
Watch them take off, you can see the little feet running.
The little feet are running, oh, like on the water, they're trying to run. That's neat. They're not here. I mean, I just remember from the map, we had the river maps like on our kayaks, like I had the laminated map, and I think the other person had one, and we were checking them, and we knew where the campgrounds were.
Okay.
But I mean, she might have had a GPS. I don't use GPS for much of anything except when I'm lost and I'm already late. So I just looked at the map. Nice and shady over here. The shade was on the other side before.
It's kind of shallow over there, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, there's a rock shelf there. You know what I thought was the neatest thing? Is I went to that Moraine State Park regatta, and they had a band, and I was 2 miles away, and I could hear the band as if I was right there. Like, there was no diminishment of the sound. It echoed through there, and when the fireworks went off, there were like 3 echoes. That's like, that lake is in like such a strange place. It's like an echo chamber. I probably could have yelled, like, talk like I'm talking to you, and they could have heard me 2 miles away. Yeah, it was weird. Now it's really wide. It looks like the Susquehanna River. I found if I just keep paddling really hard, it don't matter if I hit the rocks, I'll go right over them.
How's that handle?
It's pretty good. My boat, you might have to get more momentum, but the bigger the boat, it's kind of like if you're going fast enough, the boat might have enough momentum to go over the rocks. Yeah, I think this is almost the same as my boat. It might even turn a little easier because it's shorter. You know what's neat is when you have these Chinooks, and maybe all the plastic boats do that, but when you're paddling at night and you put little lights inside and they glow. I drove home once from Moraine State Park and I put my headlamps and stuff in the boat. So the boat was on the roof of my car and it was this big glowing yellow boat.
So by law, do you have to have a light on your boat when you're paddling at night?
I think so, but it's like, you need I think the law might only be that you have to have a light source, and that could be a headlamp. If you put a light on the back of your boat, that's better, but it doesn't have to be like the blue and red or the green and red. Wait a minute. I usually have 2 or 3 lights. I'll have a headlamp and I'll have like a candlestick light. And then I think if your boat extends more than 4 feet over your vehicle, you have to have a flag. I've never needed one because I've always measured the distance and it's always been 3 feet. But if I get a really small vehicle, I might have to do that. But it kind of almost seems pointless because my boat's like fluorescent yellow. So it's like, oh, whatever flag I get is probably not going to be any brighter than the boat itself. You can't see that boat. You can't see anything. But yeah. That's nice.
So you could put, you have a big boat that
Yeah.
to 4 feet, right?
Yeah.
You lay it in the back, you can pull the back seat down,
Huh.
and then you can strap it in.
Oh, so it can be inside the vehicle and not so much of it on the roof.
Right.
Interesting. Of course, then if it rains and stuff, all of what's in your vehicle could be, you know, that you don't want to get wet might get wet, but under normal conditions it might not be bad. These boats, the Chinooks, have these lines though, they're very reflective, so at night and stuff too, if anyone shines any light, the outline of the boat is real, it reflects back easily. Yeah. I guess there's not too many like that. Mine actually is rigged up for sailing too, which I've never set up the sails, but it has things like on it that are extra that someone added. It has a tow, yeah, it has a tow rope. Mine has like a lot more things. This must be like the real basic model Chinook, and then I must have got the fancier model.
Waves. You want any apples or crab apples? Uh-huh.
Look right here. Plenty snow.
Oh no.
Can you adjust the angle?
Huh?
Those paddles.
What is it?
Can you adjust the angle?
Oh yeah, you can do all kind of things, make them change by 15 degrees all the way till they're completely like 90 degrees off.
So, how do you like yours?
I like it like this.
Was that 15, 0?
No, it's just 0. I just have it straight.
Okay.
Sometimes I tried them other ways, but then you might, it's like you have to think about it or something. I don't know. I like to go and not be able to think about it.
They're behind us.
Yeah, they're coming. Oh, good. Where? Oh! Wow. Maybe it's the same one, do you think, or is it a different one?
Well, I can't tell the difference.
The fourth time you saw one, That's pretty good. I think I saw 3 of them.
I'm watching them, see where he lands.
Mm. Hmm.
Okay, he's set.
I see where he went.
A lot of it's kind of interesting.
Hmm?
A lot of it's rock.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that. I thought it'd be, sand built, but it's not.
No. You know, it's different than Conquenessing. The Conquenessing Creek, half of the bottom is tires.
What?
It's tires from...
Oh.
Yeah, that's... I mean, every other thing is a tire.
And yesterday was the cleanup.
Yeah, we took out, just our group alone before I left, because I got rolled in a bunch of stinging nettle all over my whole body. But while I was there, which was in like 4.5 hours, they took out over 100 tires out of like a 1 mile section. The Allegheny Aquatic Alliance, they do the cleanups. That was the second one. I went to the first one and was there the whole time. I usually show up late and then they put me with whatever group. There's the duck.
Anybody else there that you recognize?
Just the lady that organizes it and some of the organizer people. The people that I was with were different people than I was with the first time when we went down the river. So I don't know how many, it must be hundreds of people that must do that, and they send everyone off to do different sections.
So whereabouts did you clean up?
It was, we were stationed near Porter's Cove. Have you heard of Porter's Cove?
No.
Okay, so it's near Evans City, Harmony, kind of around like Route 528 or something, or maybe it's 68. It might be near Route 68. But it was on like this lady's yard that was right across this bridge from Porter's Cove.
Oh, okay.
But that was where Porter's Cove was when I did the Conquenessing Creek sojourn. We started in Renfrew, we camped in Evans City, and we finished at Porter's Cove. Because I guess what it does is it drops down, the Conquenessing drops down to Evans City, and then it goes back up towards Zillionople, and it starts going north again. But yeah, I think, what have we seen, like 1 or 2 bridges today on this whole river? In like the same amount of miles, you might see like 20 bridges there.
call my wife.
Oh, nice. I think we should be there soon, but I thought we'd be there a while ago.
It's 10 minutes to 5.
What?
10 minutes to 5.
Yeah.
We've been going for what, 3 hours?
Yeah.
Or close to it?
Yeah. Well, and this much would have taken it at least 3 hours in the spring. So we're gonna need longer because the water was really high, and with that section where I showed you the campground, that took 2 hours under like ideal conditions. So to get to there, it took us about an hour. So I'm thinking 45 more minutes maybe if we keep this rate.
Got a big bird straight ahead.
Bird.
That's what it is though.
Yeah. I only ever see one like every 2 years. They're fun to see.
When I saw that turtle in the water,
Yeah.
that was like there was a mother and a little baby.
Oh.
The little baby turtle was trying to beat the flow.
Yeah.
And he's just, swimming and scratching and clawing.
Yeah. I remember seeing painted turtles when I lived in Rhode Island. They would sit up on like rocks and stuff and they'd all jump in at once. I don't know if we have them around here. There's a tire over there. Yeah. Oh. No, that's not too many. How in the heck would that get there? Oh, a foot deep at least. Maybe a foot and a half now. today's adventures here at Mill Creek. It's now 5:41. We've been on the water about 3 hours and 45 minutes. Park office.